When you're thinking, you're actually listening. It's a profound and often overlooked truth of our existence. But have you ever paused, truly paused, amidst the relentless cascade of your inner world, to ask the most fundamental question? Who or what are you listening to? Is that voice you hear, the one that narrates your every move and critiques your every decision, truly your own? Or is it something else entirely? Something deeper, something more ancient, a hidden narrator that whispers truths and lies all at once, weaving a narrative so convincing that you've mistaken it for your very identity? Think about it, right now. That constant chatter in your head. It's narrating your life as you read these words, perhaps judging them, analyzing them, or connecting them to your own experiences. It's doubting your past decisions, replaying old memories like a broken record, or projecting futures that will never come to pass. It's a relentless commentator, a planner, a worrier, a critic. What is this force, and why does it hold such immense power over your emotional state, your choices, and the very quality of your life? Here's the reality most of us never awaken to. You are not your thoughts. You are not that voice. The most liberating truth you can ever embrace is that you are the one who hears it. You are the observer, the silent, unwavering witness to all that noise. You are the stillness behind the storm, the sky through which the clouds of thought pass. And yet, the vast majority of people go through their entire lives trapped, imprisoned within the confines of their own skulls, hopelessly tangled in a web of mental chatter they mistake for absolute reality. They believe every word, obey every command, and suffer every criticism from this inner tyrant. But what if I told you that freedom from this endless noise is not a distant fantasy reserved for monks on a mountaintop? What if I told you that it's not only possible, but it is your birthright, and it's within your reach right now, in this very moment? What if you could finally break free from the self-imposed limits your own mind has meticulously constructed around you? What if you could live a life of profound clarity, unshakable peace, and a boundless, vibrant energy that you've only ever dreamed of? You see, the mind, or more specifically the ego-driven thinking mind, loves control. It thrives on keeping you busy, thinking, planning, worrying, regretting, analyzing, and strategizing. It creates problems just so it can have the satisfaction of trying to solve them. And while you are caught in its hypnotic grip, life itself, raw, real, and beautiful, is happening right in front of you, passing you by, unnoticed. Moment by precious moment, you miss the sensory richness of the world, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the genuine smile of a loved one, the simple taste of your morning coffee. You miss the beauty, the stillness, the profound magic of simply being present. In this exploration, we are going to embark on a journey. We're going to learn how to silence the noise, not by fighting it, but by understanding it. We will connect with the deeper part of you, the silent awareness that exists beyond thoughts, beyond emotions, beyond the grand illusion of control. You're going to learn how to systematically free yourself from the tyranny of constant chatter and unlock a level of peace so deep and so pervasive that you didn't even know it was possible. So, I invite you now to take a deep, conscious breath. Inhale clarity, and as you exhale, let go of everything else, just for a while. Let go of your to-do lists, your worries about tomorrow, your regrets about yesterday. Let this moment be the beginning of a profound journey, a journey to rediscover the real you, the you that's been there all along, patiently waiting behind the curtain of noise for you to finally turn your attention inward. Because here is the ultimate truth. The voice in your head isn't you. And once you truly, deeply understand that, you'll never look at your thoughts, your emotions, or your life the same way again. And now, let's dive deeper into uncovering the true nature of that voice and how you can finally reclaim the boundless peace that is inherently yours. The tyrant within, unmasking the inner voice. When you're alone, truly alone with your thoughts, what do you hear? Is it a calm, supportive guide, an inner mentor offering wisdom and encouragement? Or is it a restless, frantic chatterbox that never, ever seems to stop? A relentless critic who points out every flaw, a worrywart who catastrophizes every possible future, or a ghost of the past who replays every mistake and every painful memory on a loop? For most of us, if we are brutally honest, it's the latter. We live with an inner voice that never quiets down, a constant narration that analyzes, criticizes, plans, and replays. It's the voice that tells you you're not good enough, that you'll probably fail, that you should have said something different in that conversation 3 years ago. It's the voice that generates anxiety about a meeting next week and shame about an action from last decade. This internal monologue feels so intimate, so close, that we assume it must be us. But here's the eye-opening, life-altering truth. That voice isn't you. Pause for a moment and really consider this. If you can hear the voice, if you can observe its patterns, its tone, its favorite recurring themes, doesn't that logically mean that you must be separate from it? The act of observation requires a subject, the observer, and an object, the observed. You are not the chatter itself. You are the one listening to it. You are the space in which the voice arises. This realization is the master key that unlocks the prison door. It is the first and most powerful step toward reclaiming your inner peace, because once you know, not just intellectually but on a deep, experiential level, that you are not the voice, you can begin to loosen its grip. You can stop being its slave and start becoming its master. But why is the voice there in the first place? Its purpose isn't inherently malicious or evil. It's a survival mechanism, a biological tool that has evolved to keep you safe. Its job is to make sense of the world, to identify potential threats, to learn from past mistakes, and to predict and plan for the future. In a primal world, this mechanism was essential. Is that a predator in the bushes? Did I remember where the clean water source is? Yet, in our modern world, this once helpful tool has become overactive and dysfunctional. In its overzealous, neurotic attempts to protect, it creates relentless mental and emotional chaos. It replays arguments from a week ago, trying to find a better comeback. It anticipates problems at work that may never happen. It crafts elaborate, terrifying what-if scenarios and forces you to live through the anxiety of them as if they were real. It constantly compares you to others, almost always unfavorably. It is a tool that has forgotten its function and now runs on autopilot, generating noise for the sake of noise. Imagine for a moment that you're at the most spectacular movie theater you can envision. The screen is vast, the sound is perfect. The film on display is the movie of your life, filled with breathtaking scenes. A sunset over a serene ocean, the laughter of a child, the thrill of a new adventure. But instead of being absorbed in the beauty of the film, there's someone sitting next to you, whispering non-stop into your ear. Why is the sun that particular shade of orange? Are you sure you're enjoying this enough? Do you think it's going to rain tomorrow? Remember that other sunset that was slightly better? What's going to happen next? Are you prepared for what happens next? That nagging, distracting, and utterly exhausting person is your inner voice. It narrates your life so incessantly, so pedantically, that you miss the raw, unmediated beauty of simply being present and watching the movie. So, how do you break free? How do you tell that person in the theater to please be quiet? The first step isn't to fight, argue, or suppress the voice. That only gives it more energy. The first step is simply to observe it, Take a moment right now. Close your eyes if you can, or simply soften your gaze. Listen to the thoughts running through your mind. Don't try to change them or stop them. Just listen as if you were listening to the sound of traffic outside your window. What are they saying? Are they analyzing this video? Are they planning what you'll have for dinner? Are they reminding you of an embarrassing moment from high school? Are they doubting whether this practice even works? Whatever it is, just listen. Notice the tone of the voice. Is it anxious, angry, arrogant, fearful? Notice its patterns, as if you were a scientist studying a strange phenomenon. Here's the key insight. The voice isn't you. It's just a pattern, a collection of deeply ingrained mental habits and conditioned responses, often absorbed from parents, society, and past experiences. When you observe it without judgment, without getting entangled in its narrative, you create a gap, a space, a moment of silence between you, the observer, and the chatter, the observed. This gap is freedom. This gap is peace. It's the space where you can experience life directly, unfiltered by the constant mental noise. The voice thrives on your attention, and more importantly, your belief. The more you believe its stories, I am a failure, something terrible is going to happen, the stronger and more convincing it becomes. But the moment you step back and simply watch it with a detached curiosity, its power begins to dissolve. It's like a bully who loses all his power the moment you stop cowering in fear and instead look at him with calm, neutral awareness. Instead of being the actor caught up in the drama of the mind, you become the audience, calmly observing the play. And remember, the ultimate goal isn't to permanently silence the voice. That's impossible and would even be undesirable, as the thinking mind is a useful tool when used correctly. Thoughts will always come and go. Your job is not to stop the thoughts, but to stop believing you are the thoughts. Your job is to recognize that they are just thoughts, not objective reality. They are like clouds passing across the vast open sky. Sometimes they are white and fluffy, sometimes they are dark and stormy. But you are not the clouds. You are the sky, vast, silent, unchanging, and utterly unaffected by the weather that passes through you. This is the foundation of all inner freedom. Understanding, on a cellular level, that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. And as you strengthen this awareness through the simple practice of observation, you'll discover a deeper sense of peace, clarity, and resilience than you have ever known. And now, let's explore what happens when you apply this powerful understanding to the turbulent world of emotions that this voice so often stirs up. Let's learn how to release the heavy baggage of the past and truly, finally, let go. The weight of a feather, releasing emotional baggage. Emotions are the body's response to the stories the mind is telling. A fearful thought creates the feeling of anxiety. An angry thought creates the feeling of rage. A sad thought creates the feeling of grief. What if I told you that most of the emotional weight you're carrying, the chronic anxiety, the lingering resentment, the deep-seated sadness, isn't from the events of your life themselves, but from your mind's refusal to stop telling the stories about them? Painful memories, unresolved anger, and lingering fears don't have to define your life, but they will, as long as you unconsciously hold on to them. We carry our pasts with us like a backpack filled with stones. Every hurt, every betrayal, every failure, we add another stone to the bag. We drag this weight with us everywhere we go, and we become so accustomed to the strain that we forget what it feels like to walk without it. We wonder why we are so tired, so heavy, so devoid of joy. Emotions are simply energy in motion, emotion. They are designed to move, to flow through us like a current. But when we cling to them, when we resist them, when we endlessly replay the stories that generate them, that energy gets stuck. It stagnates. It doesn't go away. It solidifies into heavy, dense baggage that you carry in your body and your energy field. And the longer you hold on to it, the heavier and more solid it feels, until it begins to feel like a part of who you are. Think about it in a practical way. When someone says or does something that hurts you, what happens next? The event itself might be over in a matter of minutes, but your mind, the inner narrator, hijacks the experience. It replays the event over and over, dissecting every word, analyzing every nuance, imagining different outcomes. Why did they say that? I should have said this. I can't believe they did that to me. With every mental replay, you regenerate the original emotional pain. You feel the hurt, the anger, the humiliation, as if it's happening again and again. Right now, the truth is, it's not the original event that is hurting you anymore. The event is gone. It exists only as a memory. What's hurting you now is your mind's compulsive attachment to the memory and your body's conditioned response to that thought. It's your inability or unwillingness to let it go. But letting go isn't about forgetting. It's not about condoning bad behavior or pretending something didn't happen. That is suppression, which is just another form of resistance. True letting go is about freeing yourself from the emotional charge of the past. It's about severing the chains that bind you to a memory, allowing the emotions to finally rise, be fully felt without judgment, and then move on. Here's a simple but profound realization that can help. Emotions are temporary. They are impermanent by their very nature. Anger, sadness, jealousy, fear, they are like waves in the ocean. They gather energy, rise, reach a peak, and then inevitably, if you let them, they crash on the shore and dissipate back into the vastness of the ocean. The problem is, we don't let them. When we feel the wave of anger rising, we either try to fight it and push it down, suppression, or we grab a surfboard and try to ride it, feeding it with more angry thoughts and justifying our rage expression. Both actions keep us entangled. The third, and only true path to freedom, is to simply allow the wave. You stand on the shore as the silent witness, and you watch the wave rise, you feel its power, and you watch it fade away, knowing that it cannot harm you, the observer. Let me guide you through a practice right now. Bring to mind something that's been weighing on you emotionally. It doesn't have to be a major trauma. It could be a small argument you had, a regret about a decision, or a worry about the future. Gently bring it to your awareness. Now, instead of focusing on the story in your head, shift your attention into your body. Where do you feel this emotion physically? Is there a tightness in your chest? A hollow feeling in your stomach? A tension in your shoulders or jaw? Don't judge it or try to push it away. Don't label it bad or unwanted. Just let it be there. Be curious about the physical sensation. Is it hot or cold? Is it vibrating or still? Now, take a slow, deep breath and imagine you are breathing directly into that sensation. Imagine your breath surrounding it, creating space around it. As you exhale, imagine that tightness loosening, that knot unraveling just a little bit. On your next breath, say to yourself, I see you, I feel you, and I am allowing you to be here. And on the exhale, I am releasing you. Keep breathing gently, consciously, allowing the emotion to be what it is, a flow of energy. This is the power of surrender, not as weakness or defeat, but as the ultimate act of wisdom and freedom. When you stop fighting your emotions and instead meet them with acceptance and presence, you create the space for them to complete their natural cycle and pass. You let go of the story your mind is telling, and you simply feel what is there, in the body, in the now. Of course, letting go isn't always easy or instantaneous. Some emotions are deeply rooted, tied to years of conditioning or significant past traumas that have left deep scars. But even then, the principle is the same. Feel the emotion, but don't let it define you. Watch it, but don't become it. Here's another simple but powerful practice for intense moments. Label it. When you feel a surge of intense emotion, mentally step back and say, "This is anger," or "This is the feeling of sadness," or "I am aware of a strong sensation of fear in my body." By simply naming the emotion, you create a separation. You are no longer lost in the anger. You are the one who is aware of the anger. You remind yourself that it's just a passing emotional state, not the totality of who you are. The truth is, a rich and meaningful life isn't about avoiding pain. It's about learning how to move through it with grace. It's about allowing yourself to feel deeply, to experience the full spectrum of human emotion without getting stuck in any one part of it. It's about learning to carry your past as a lesson, not as a burden. And now that you've begun to lighten your emotional baggage, let's turn to another primary source of inner turmoil: the pervasive and deeply ingrained illusion of control, and discover how the radical act of surrender can set you truly free. The open hand, surrendering the illusion of control. We all crave control. We yearn for control over our lives, control over our finances, control over our health, control over others' perceptions of us, and, most elusively, control over the future. It feels safe, doesn't it? The thinking mind tells us a seductive story. If you could just manage every detail, anticipate every outcome, and plan for every contingency, you'd finally be okay. You'd finally be safe. You'd finally be happy. But here's the great cosmic paradox. The more you try to control everything, the more out of control you feel, and the more you realize how little control you actually have. And that realization, though utterly terrifying to the ego at first, contains the seeds of profound freedom and peace. Think about your own life. How many times have you meticulously planned something only to have life, in its infinite and unpredictable wisdom, take its own completely different course? Maybe you rehearsed the perfect conversation in your head 100 times, only to have it go sideways in the first 30 seconds. Or you envisioned your career unfolding along a neat, linear path, only to end up somewhere completely different, somewhere you never could have predicted. It's frustrating, isn't it? It feels like failure, but it's also inevitable. Control is an illusion, one of the mind's favorite and most persistent fantasies. Life is too vast, too complex, too mysterious to ever fit into the tiny, rigid boxes we create for it with our minds. The weather doesn't consult your plans before it decides to rain on your picnic. Other people don't act according to the scripts you've written for them in your head. They have their own scripts, their own desires, their own inner worlds. And the future unfolds as it will, a mysterious tapestry woven from infinite threads, regardless of how much you try to predict or manipulate it. So, what happens when you cling desperately to this illusion of control? You suffer, endlessly. You live in a state of constant, low-grade or high-grade tension, resisting the natural, spontaneous flow of life, trying to bend it and force it to your will. You stress over things that are utterly and completely beyond your power, exhausting yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically in the process. It's like trying to hold water in your clenched fists. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. It's like trying to steer a river. You will only exhaust yourself and get tossed against the rocks. But what if you let go? What if, instead of clenching your fists, you opened your hands? What if you surrendered? Not in defeat, not in passive resignation, but in active and radical trust. trusting that life, the universe, God, or whatever you want to call it, knows what it's doing, even when you don't. Trusting that you have the inner resources to handle whatever comes your way. Even when it's not what you planned or wanted, let me guide you through a simple exercise. Close your eyes, if you can, and bring to mind something you're desperately trying to control right now. It could be a specific outcome at work, the behavior of a family member, a health concern, or a decision you're agonizing over. Feel that need for control in your body. Where does it live? Notice the physical sensations associated with it. Is there a clenching in your stomach? A tightness in your shoulders? A rapid heartbeat? A sense of urgency and panic? This is the feeling of resistance. This is the feeling of trying to hold water in a clenched fist. Now, take a deep, slow breath. As you exhale, consciously and intentionally, imagine releasing that desperate need to control. Picture yourself physically opening your hands, letting go of the reins you've been gripping so tightly. As you continue to breathe, you might say to yourself, I release the need to force this outcome. I trust the process of life. I will do my part, and I will let go of the rest. Feel the subtle or not so subtle shift in your body as you move from resistance to release. Feel the tension begin to melt away. Letting go of control doesn't mean you become a passive doormat. It doesn't mean you stop caring, stop setting goals, or stop taking inspired action. It means you stop trying to force outcomes that are not yours to dictate. It means you show up, you do your best with what you can control, your attitude, your effort, your choices, and then you gracefully, wisely, let life take its course. You plant the seeds, you water them, but you don't try to force the flower to bloom. You allow it to unfold in its own time. Here's the thing. Life has its own rhythm, its own intelligence, its own profound wisdom. And when you stop fighting it, when you learn to surrender to the flow, you find a sense of peace and effortlessness that you can never, ever achieve through struggle and control. You start to see that even when things don't go as you planned, they often turn out better than you could have possibly imagined. A lost job leads to a more fulfilling career. A painful breakup opens the door to a deeper love. A perceived failure becomes the greatest lesson of your life. Imagine you are standing in a river. If you rigidly resist the current, trying to stand still or push the water in a different direction, you will struggle constantly and eventually tire yourself out. But if you relax, lie on your back, and flow with the current, it will carry you effortlessly. Life works the same way. The current is always moving, always guiding you, if only you are willing to let it. But surrendering isn't just about external circumstances. It's also about your own inner world. How often do you try to control your own thoughts and emotions? I shouldn't feel this way. I have to be positive. I need to stop thinking about this. This is just another form of resistance. What if you simply allowed your inner world to be as it is? What if you trusted that your thoughts and feelings too will flow and fade, just like everything else, if you don't cling to them or fight them? Here's a mantra you can carry with you throughout your day. I control what I can, and I let go of what I can't. Repeat it silently to yourself whenever you feel that familiar urge to grip tightly, to force, to resist. It's a powerful reminder that while you are the master of your own actions, your choices, and your attitude, the rest is up to life. True power is not in controlling the world, but in mastering yourself. Now that you've loosened your grip on the illusion of control, let's explore how to live more openly and freely, unlocking the full, radiant potential of your heart and your life. The uncaged heart, the courage to live openly. Imagine a life where you wake up every morning with a profound sense of freedom. A life where your heart feels light and expansive, your mind is at peace, and you're genuinely open and curious about whatever the day may bring. This isn't a fantasy. This is the essence of living openly, but for so many of us, it remains a distant dream. Why? Because from a very young age, we learn to build walls around ourselves. We construct elaborate fortresses around our hearts, brick by brick. The bricks are made of fear, past pain, and the desperate desire to protect ourselves from ever getting hurt again. Think about it. How many times have you held back your true feelings out of fear of being judged or rejected? How many times have you avoided an opportunity, a new job, a new relationship, a creative project, because you were afraid you might fail? How many times have you put on a mask, pretending to be someone you're not, just to fit in or be accepted? These walls, these masks, these protective mechanisms, they may feel like they're keeping you safe, but they're also keeping you imprisoned. They block the flow of life. They prevent true, authentic connection with others. They suffocate your creativity and joy. They keep you from experiencing the full, vibrant, messy, beautiful spectrum of human experience. Living openly doesn't mean you won't face challenges or get hurt. Life will inevitably bring both. It means you stop letting the fear of those things dictate your life. It means you choose, consciously and courageously, to embrace life fully, with all its glorious unpredictability and heartbreaking imperfection. Let's start with the heart. Your heart is the most powerful energy center in your body. It is your seat of love, compassion, connection, and joy. When it's open, you feel alive, connected, empathetic, and at peace. But when it's closed and guarded, you feel isolated, defensive, cynical, and heavy. So why do we close our hearts? It's almost always because we're afraid of being vulnerable, afraid of getting hurt again, afraid of being seen for who we truly are, flaws and all, and being deemed unworthy. But here's the courageous truth, that vulnerability isn't weakness. It is the purest expression of strength and courage. It's the willingness to be seen, to be real, to love without guarantees. When you live with an open heart, you allow yourself to feel deeply, to connect authentically with others, and to experience life fully. Yes, it's risky. Your heart can be broken. But it is only through an open heart that you can experience true joy, deep love, and profound fulfillment. A closed heart is safe, but it is also a prison. An open heart is vulnerable, but it is also free. Here's a practice to help you begin the gentle process of opening your heart. Take a moment and think about someone or something you love unconditionally. A person, a pet, a beautiful place in nature, or even a cherished memory. Don't just think about it. Allow yourself to truly feel the warmth and expansion that comes with that feeling of love. Now, imagine that warmth as a glowing light in the center of your chest. With each breath you take, imagine that light growing brighter, warmer, and larger. Imagine it expanding beyond your chest, filling your entire body. With each exhale, imagine you are sending that light, that energy of love, out into the world. Send it to your loved ones. Send it to strangers. Send it to people with whom you have difficulty. That feeling? That is the feeling of an open heart. And the more you practice cultivating this feeling, the easier and more natural it becomes to live this way. Not guarded and defensive, but open and free. Living openly also means radically embracing the present moment. How much of our lives do we spend lost in thought, worrying about a future that hasn't happened or regretting a past that is over? Meanwhile, life itself, the only thing that is ever real, is happening right here, right now, and we're missing it. The present moment is the only place where life ever unfolds. It's where beauty, joy, creativity, and peace exist. But to experience it, you have to be willing to let go of the mental distractions that are constantly pulling you away into the imaginary realms of past and future. Here's a simple but profoundly effective exercise to anchor yourself in the present. Wherever you are, just pause. Take one deep, conscious breath, and then engage your senses fully. What are 5 things you can see right now? Notice colors, shapes, textures. What are 4 things you can feel? The chair beneath you, the air on your skin, the fabric of your clothes. What are 3 things you can hear? The distant hum of traffic, the sound of your own breathing. What are 2 things you can smell? And what is 1 thing you can taste? This simple practice, often called grounding, yanks you out of the chaotic world of your mind and plants you firmly in the reality of the present moment. When your mind inevitably starts to wander, gently and without judgment, bring it back to the now. This practice of presence is a gateway to living openly. It helps you see life as it is, not as your mind projects it to be. And in that raw, unfiltered clarity, you find freedom. But living openly isn't just about your relationship with yourself. It's also about how you connect with others. How often do we engage in superficial conversations, keeping our true thoughts and feelings hidden because we're afraid of being misunderstood or causing conflict? Yet, it is in those moments of raw honesty and genuine vulnerability that real, soul-nourishing connections are forged. Here's a courageous challenge for you. The next time you're in a conversation with someone you trust, practice radical honesty. Share something true about yourself, something you might usually hold back. It doesn't have to be a dark secret. It could be a fear, a dream, a moment of uncertainty. Notice how it feels to express yourself openly and authentically, without a mask. You might be surprised at how it deepens your connection and invites the other person to be more real with you. Finally, living openly is about saying yes to life. Too often, we hold back out of fear, self-doubt, or perfectionism, waiting for the perfect moment that never arrives. But the truth is, life rarely gives you perfect moments. You have to create them by stepping forward, by taking the risk, by saying yes, even when you're unsure, even when you're afraid. Living openly is a choice you make every single day, in every single moment. It's a continuous practice of letting go of fear, embracing vulnerability, and being fully present with whatever is. It's not always easy. It requires immense courage, but it is always, always worth it. And now that you've unlocked the power of living openly, let's bring it all together by discovering how to achieve true, lasting freedom. A freedom that endures no matter what storms life throws your way. The unshakable center, the nature of true freedom. What does it truly mean to be free? Is it a life of hedonistic pleasure with no responsibilities? Is it escaping to a deserted island, away from all the problems and people of the world? Is it a life devoid of all pain and struggle? Number. That is a fantasy of the ego. Real freedom isn't about escaping life. It's about embracing it fully, without internal resistance. It's about living without the inner chains that hold you back, the relentless mental chatter, the heavy emotional weight of the past, the neurotic need for control. True freedom is an inside job. It has very little to do with your external circumstances and everything to do with your internal state. Think of freedom not as something you must attain or achieve, but as something you uncover. It is your natural state. It is already there, beneath the thick, suffocating layers of fear, conditioning, doubt, and resistance that you have accumulated over a lifetime. Freedom is what remains when you stop clinging to what no longer serves you and gracefully let go of what you can't control. Let's start with the mind. Most of us operate under the delusion that freedom will come when we solve all our problems, achieve all our goals, and finally get our lives in order. But have you noticed how, even when one problem is solved, another one mysteriously appears to take its place. It's a never-ending game of mental whack-a-mole. The truth is, the mind, in its default state, is a problem-generating machine. It will always find something to fixate on, to worry about, to improve, unless you learn to step back and observe it without belief. Here's a practice to reclaim your freedom from the mind. The next time your mind starts spinning with worries, plans, or criticisms, simply pause. Take a deep breath and remind yourself of the ultimate truth. I am not my thoughts. Watch the thoughts as if they are leaves floating down a stream. Let them come and let them go. Don't try to fish them out. Don't jump into the stream to follow them. Simply sit on the bank and watch them pass. This isn't about ignoring reality or being irresponsible. It's about freeing yourself from the fictional, often terrifying stories your mind constantly creates about reality. Now, let's talk about emotions. True freedom doesn't mean you become a robot and stop feeling. Quite the opposite. It means you stop being ruled by your feelings. It means you develop the capacity to feel everything: joy, grief, anger, peace, without being swept away by it. Emotions will rise and fall like waves on the ocean, but they don't have to carry you away and dash you against the rocks. When you feel a powerful emotion like anger, sadness, or fear, the practice is to acknowledge it without judgment. Say, "Ah, I see you, anger. I accept that you are here right now." And then feel it in your body. Let it flow through you, instead of resisting it or clinging to it. Freedom is allowing the weather of your inner world to be what it is, knowing that you are the sky, not the storm. One of the most powerful and liberating realizations on the path to freedom is this: you don't need everything to go your way to be at peace. You can find freedom even in the midst of chaos, uncertainty, and pain, when you let go of the need for life to be perfect or to match your preferences. Imagine standing in the eye of a hurricane. All around you, the wind is howling, debris is flying, the rain is pouring down. It is utter chaos. But in the center, in the eye, there is an eerie, profound stillness. That stillness is your true self. It's the silent awareness, the part of you that isn't shaken or disturbed by external circumstances. When you learn to connect with that inner stillness, that unshakable center, you realize that freedom isn't about the storm stopping. Freedom is about finding the peace within the storm. So, how do you live this freedom on a daily, moment-to-moment basis? By practicing presence, by letting go of what you can't change, by opening your heart to life as it is, not as you wish it to be, by consistently choosing to step out of the drama of the mind and into the reality of the present moment. Here's a final mantra to carry with you as a constant reminder: I am free, no matter what. Say it to yourself when you feel overwhelmed by stress. Say it when things don't go as planned. Say it when difficult emotions threaten to consume you. It's a powerful declaration that your freedom is not contingent on your external world. It's not out there. It's in here. True freedom is about showing up fully for your life, without the armor of fear, without the shackles of resistance, and without the illusion of control. It's about being fully, vibrantly alive in each moment, trusting that no matter what happens on the outside, your inner center will hold. You will be okay. Take a final moment now and just breathe. Let all these words and concepts settle. Let the thoughts in your mind quiet down and just be here. Because this is the point we've been building toward all along. The profound and simple realization that everything you have ever been searching for, the clarity, the peace, the love, the freedom, is already within you. They are not things you have to chase, acquire, or earn. They are simply waiting patiently for you to uncover them. Think back to where we started this journey, with that restless, relentless inner voice At first, it might have seemed like an all-powerful tyrant, dictating your every thought, feeling, and decision. But now you know the truth. The voice isn't you. You are the silent observer, the one watching, listening, and ultimately choosing how much power and belief to give it. And then we explored the immense weight of our emotional baggage, the anger, fear, and pain that we carry for years, even decades. We learned that letting go wasn't about ignoring or suppressing those emotions, but about having the courage to feel them, to honor them, and then to consciously release them. Because you are not meant to hold on to every wave that crashes against your shore. You are meant to let them flow, trusting that you, the shoreline, will remain steady, no matter how strong the tide. From there, we uncovered the great illusion of control, the false and exhausting belief that we can and should shape every outcome, avoid every mistake, and protect ourselves from all of life's uncertainty. True strength, we discovered, came in the radical act of surrender, in trusting the flow of life and realizing that the less you resist, the more peace and power you find. And finally, we stepped into the beautiful, vulnerable art of living openly. No more walls, no more masks, no more hiding. Instead, we found the courage to open our hearts, ready to love and be loved, ready to embrace all of life's moments with courage, presence, and authenticity. This is where true joy lives, in the present, unfiltered and raw. So, what's next? What do you do with all this knowledge? The answer is beautifully simple: practice. This isn't a one-time intellectual shift. It's a daily, moment-to-moment choice. Every moment of your life, you have the opportunity to step back and observe your thoughts, to release what no longer serves you, to let go of control, and to open yourself to the infinite, unpredictable beauty of life. Because freedom isn't a destination. It's not a finish line you cross or a prize you win at the end of the game. Freedom is a state of being. It's the practice of choosing, again and again and again, to return to your true self, to trust the process of life, to live fully and openly, no matter what life brings. So, as you leave this text and return to your life, take one more deep, conscious breath. Feel the stillness within you, that unshakable, silent part of you that nothing and no one can ever disturb. That is your true home. Carry that awareness with you. Let it guide you. Let it be your anchor in the storms. And remember, you are free. Not because of what's happening around you, but because of what's happening within you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Now go and live the freedom that has always been and always will be yours.